sure. Briefly touch on this as far as like talk about quality of even the sound. What are some artists can do in terms of like turning in the product to you, the music to you, that be the right sound quality prepared for the vinyl?
Yeah, that's where vinyl is a little tricky. And that's one of the things that's amazing about digital audio, and being an old man, I've sort of seen it come, go, and come back. And that digital audio is easy. And by that I mean that whatever you guys create can be reproduced digitally. We're not talking about the physical world anymore, right? We're talking about music that's being represented by digital code. Vinyl, on the other hand, is a really limited 150-year-old format. So there are really fundamental limitations, the first of which being time. Like, you can put up to 80 minutes of music on a CD, you can put an endless amount up on the web. With records, the most you can put on one side of a 12-inch record and have it sound good is about 22 minutes. You can get up to 24, the last 2 to 4 minutes are gonna sound pretty funky, but you can get it there. Ideally, you've got about 17 minutes of music on a side. So that's why you'll see, if you look around the records, that's why you see so many double LPs for hip hop records, especially if you wanna have full extension of low frequency energy with pretty good high end. Because the physical nature of sound is that low frequency energy, like an 808, is gonna be 20 feet long. Okay, like a single 808 hit is gonna be 22 feet long. Now, if you've got like a hi-hat sample or like the key part of somebody's vocal, that's gonna be like 1/10 of an inch long. So if you have both of those happening at the same time, you've got one thing that takes like 1/10 of an inch to happen, and another thing that happens 22 feet. So I think there's a big misconception that low end, it is hard to do on a record. It's not necessarily that low end is hard to do, but you have to make sure that your low frequencies and your high frequencies are sort of in balance. Whereas that's something you don't have to worry about at all with digital. So
that kind of leads to my next thing is that, obviously with vinyl, there's a longer timetable to getting it done. That's why a lot of times you'll see a CD come out and the vinyl will come out the same day because the process takes a little longer. What is a safe timeline to turning in that master and getting your vinyl back?
If you're doing it through us, it's going to be about 6 weeks. If you're doing it through virtually anybody else, you're looking at somewhere between 8 weeks and 6 months.
It's not like making CDs, man. Just give yourself time.
And if there's one piece of making your music advice I could give you, it is do not book a record release show until you are done with your record. Like, I cannot tell you over the last 20 years how many times I've had somebody be like, well, the record release show is in 10 days, and we're gonna be finished mixing by the weekend. That's just gonna cost you a lot of money. That's when things are gonna go wrong. Just get the record mixed,
Because if you're moving so fast that you make a mistake, you're gonna have a lot of time to sort of regret it and say, why did we hustle? And we've spent a year working on this project, and then we put ourselves under intense pressure at the very end of it, and we made some totally rookie mistakes. We spent a lot of money. If you're doing vinyl, that's not cheap. It's just a big investment. Take your time, do it right.
Also with the vinyl, one thing is that people are doing that's been helpful a lot lately is including the download cards in there.
When someone buys the vinyl, are you asking him to forego the ability to put it on his iPod? That's why we include a download card.
With this record, and usually we use sort of a standard, there's a standard free download card with the record. If you paid enough for a record, you should own the MP3s at the very least, right? So normally you get basically like a default black and white card. Some artists will choose to do a custom download card, which we also sell these individually. On the Sims record, Sims did that because they use these as essentially promotional items, right? So instead of doing promo CDs, they did vinyl 12 inches, and then they did these custom download cards, mailed these out. This was the promo.
And the download card is something, and maybe you can figure out a classy way to segue into it, because we're talking about it with the vinyl, but it's also, you can always say, go online and you can download my music. You got to go to www. People are like, what?
But you just give them that right there.
Here it is.
Here it is.
For $289, you can have 1,000 cards made, and that includes all the hosting, the setup, everything else. You're in business now.
Does that price fluctuate based on how much music is there, or there's music or video? Does any of that matter? Nothing matters. But content-wise,
Any digital file type.
you can do audio, video, artwork, liner notes.
The other thing about WAV files or AIFF files, or right now FLAC files, which is the fully lossless compressed, MP3s have something in them called an ID3 tag. And basically what that is that's data that tells iTunes or Windows Media Player or whatever you're using what the song title is. It carries the artwork with it. So if you grab these and you drop them into iTunes, there's the record cover, there's all the information you want in it. WAV files have no way to carry that information. So higher resolution audio, while it sounds better, is not the greatest distribution format. So when we have clients who do this, we encourage them to always do MP3s. So you can, like what you're saying, do a quick download, and they'll have like a secondary folder that says high res audio, and maybe a tertiary folder that is video or promo material. One sheets for radio, et cetera, so you can hand these out to radio stations, since so many radio stations do servers now instead of CD players.
Well, let's go into the CD option too, I guess. People still do want CDs, and one of the reasons that, for the same reason with the vinyl, you can do nicer packaging with CDs and different things. You have some samples. You want to show us some of the CD options you can do?
I mean, you know, despite everything that's being said, we still make a lot of CDs for people, and a lot of CDs are still sold.
And as an independent artist, I know none, even clients or friends of mine who are very successful independent artists, don't make money from Apple. Nobody's making money from the iTunes store except for Apple and YouTube, you know, and the Beatles. People don't get paid for iTunes. You get paid for a commodity that you can sell, you know? And so figuring out the best way to do that, whether that's vinyl or a CD or a download card, it's something that someone can physically hold. How we listen to music may be different, but I think how people consume your music, they're gonna want some kind of a physical component, or there needs to be some kind of exchange if you're gonna sell it. You know, whether it's a download code on a t-shirt, and they're buying a t-shirt and the music off the t-shirt, I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you're an artist doing regular shows or touring, a physical product is a key component for sure. That's for Rhymesayers. That's how we still sell a lot of physical units because of all the shows and touring that we do. So. Also get right here online. That's the best way to find you. If someone wants to come to you, forget their stuff pressed up, they go right here.
Right, and you know, we're available to meet with people. We meet, you know, because we're local, we can have face-to-face meetings. There's a great benefit to that. Sit down, we talk about problems. Well, we do have people to whom we just sell blank codes.
Yeah.
Okay, we can sell you a code, and if you find a printer who prints variable data, you could print a download code on a t-shirt tag or something. You're selling t-shirts. We got to talk, Kevin. Because there should be a download code on each of these t-shirts. Yeah, anything. You can put a download code, you know, and so maybe you're making your money selling the t-shirt, but the music is part of it. You know, we got to think creatively here. As creatively when we're marketing it or selling it as when you're making it. Because if it's going to survive as a business, you know, you can't give it away. You got to provide a product that people want at a price they're willing to pay.
And one last thing about the cards that is a little different is that what you are buying is you are buying a place on a server that you have a token to. So you can change that material. So it's like you've got a lease on a store, and if you decide that you don't want to sell candles anymore, you want to sell tie-dyed shirts, you don't have to get a new store, you just change the sign.
Yeah, for example, I had got you guys did cards to me for my radio show. And I put a radio show on it, and then I could change that. If I want to change a different show, I can just put a different show anytime on those same cards and keep passing them out. So it's up to the artist how you want to use that code. The variable data is mainly for you want to give someone the chance to they're getting it one time only. You have the option of doing that or making it unlimited. It's up to you. So, cool.
All right.
I think that covers it. Thank you very much. Noiseland for coming out. Appreciate it.
Thank you.